if you're hearing this, it means I failed at least once more. The last time I hit record, I thought I was signing off. Instead, I was opening the door. When I came home tonight, he wasn't waiting in my apartment. They were. 4 kids sitting at my kitchen table, feet dangling, hands folded neatly, eyes not glowing, smiles small and tired and very, very human. Mia looked up at me and asked, "Can you make him stop?" I didn't answer. I put a fresh recorder on the table, hit the red button. This is my 4th transmission from the Unsafe Zone. If you're still listening after this one, his zone has decided you're worth expanding for. It should have been him in here, the tall man, the thing in the trees, the one who folded the town when I tried to leave. But when I opened my door, it wasn't his shadow on my kitchen floor. It was theirs. Liam, Emma, Jaden, Mia. 4 kids I teach. 4 kids I watched at the fence. 4 kids I watched him mark. They weren't glowing. They weren't frozen in that painted-on grin from the bus stop. They just looked finished, like adults at the end of a 12-hour shift. Eyes smudged, spines folded. "Can you make him stop?" Mia asked. Not, "What is he?" Not, "Why us?" Just that. I didn't promise anything. I just turned the recorder toward them. "Let the red light blink. If this reaches you, it means his map stretched far enough to find you. You shouldn't be here if you missed the first 3 transmissions. You already know about the bus stop. The kids who kept smiling when the bus never came. The way their faces didn't change when the snow hit their lashes. You know the rules," Mia whispered on the playground. "Don't look too long. Don't talk too much. Don't try to leave. You know I broke all 3. I stared too long at their faces by the fence. I talked too much to you, into microphones, across cables and screens. I tried to leave. I drove under a sky that never changed color, turned left, then right, then left again, and still passed the same crooked pole, the same puddle, the same missing poster. The GPS only knew one word: recalculating. The town folded around me like a map someone didn't like and kept crumpling. No matter where I turned, it dropped me back at the school, the bus stop, my apartment. And when I finally walked to that bus stop at night, bag of useless protection in my hand, he stepped out from between the trees and told me what he wanted. "I want a witness," he said. "One adult who understands what I am and chooses me anyway." I said no. Over and over, seeing the kids at my table tonight. I'm starting to think he never needed my yes. He just needed me to keep talking. We sit there for a while, just listening to the hum over the light. "How long has he been talking to you?" I ask. Liam doesn't look up. "Since the snow," he says. "Since the first time you watched us and didn't look away." Emma scrapes her nail along a crack in the table. "He likes your voice," she says. "The more you talk, the easier it is for him to move things." "Move what?" I ask. Mia answers without taking her eyes off the tabletop. "Lines," she says. "Streets. Walls. Grown-up minds." Jaden stares at the empty air, like he can still see the bus stop burned there. "He said we're your map," he whispers. "Where we go, the zone goes. When you talk, it draws in darker." They say it calmly, practiced, like they've had a lot of time to rehearse their side of the story while I've been recording mine. I thought I'd been describing their nightmare to you. I didn't realize I was tracing the blueprint.
Why bring you here? I ask. Why walk you through your locked doors just to sit you at my table? Mia finally looks up. Her eyes are still just eyes brown, glassy, ringed with red. He's bored, she says. He's had lots of witnesses. Emma nods. Most grown-ups pretend he isn't real, she says. Or they move away, or they stop talking about him, or they stop.
Liam taps the recorder with his fingertip. You didn't stop, he says. You kept telling the story. He likes that. The hum in the walls thickens, like bees inside drywall. At the bus stop, he told me he wanted a witness who understood and chose him anyway. Now I get it. It was never just about me choosing him. It was about seeing what you do. He dragged the kids into my apartment so he can watch how many times you replay them, how long you stare at their faces in thumbnails, how easily you invite them into someone else's night. He doesn't just want a witness. He wants an audience he can measure. The room doesn't flip upside down. It does something worse. It forgets how straight lines work. The tiles on the floor start to curve toward the table. The corner by the fridge leans a little closer. The ceiling sags in the middle, like a giant hand is pressing down. Slowly, patiently. You wouldn't catch it in a quick glance. You'd just feel wrong the longer you looked. Jaden's knee bounces under his chair. He's listening, he mutters. He likes when you explain him. I'm not explaining him, I say. I'm warning them. Mia shakes her head. Same lines, she says. Doesn't matter what you call it. Story, warning, joke. They all draw. Their faces are changing while we talk. Not all at once. Just the slow settling of muscles into shapes that aren't theirs anymore. Their smiles smooth out into that neat, almost polite version he prefers. The kind of smile you see in school portraits, or on posters stapled to telephone poles. A faint blue glow starts behind their eyes, like light shining through bone. This is what it looks like when kids turn into landmarks. At some point, I stop talking to the kids and start talking past them. I'm not really speaking to you, I tell them. I'm speaking to whoever's on the other side of this red light. Their eyes track me, but they don't interrupt. They know I don't mean them. I mean you, wherever you are right now, on your bed, on a bus. Hiding this under the covers. You followed this all the way to part 4. You stared at their faces in thumbnails. You listened while I described streets that won't stay in place. You let him sit in the gap between your curiosity and your fear. He loves that. But he hasn't told you the real trade yet. It was never me for them. He made it clear at the bus stop. You're already mine. Extra minute you've stayed here. Every replay, every time you hand this story to someone who likes creepy stuff. You're exchanging certainty for doubt. You're trading the quiet belief that your town is stable for the suspicion that you wouldn't notice if a house slid a few feet to the left. He doesn't need your belief. He just needs your doubt. The room tightens another click. I feel it in my teeth, in that soft spot at the back of my eyes. The kids stop fidgeting. They stop breathing loud enough for the mic to catch. They sit up straighter, shoulders aligning, hands folding in perfect symmetry on the table. When I finally look them full in the face, their eyes aren't reflecting light anymore. They're making it. Small, hard circles of neon blue, bright enough that the wall behind them glows. Their smiles lock into place. Not happy, not afraid, just permanently ready to be seen. When Liam speaks, his lips move like a kid's, but the sound that comes out has 2 layers. You're doing well, it says. Liam's voice on top, the tall man's tone underneath. They're still listening. Emma tilts her head at the exact angle I saw between the trees.
You keep telling them there's a way out, she says. Do you really think they'll take it? The hum in the walls climbs until it matches the rhythm of their slow, steady breathing. The kids at my table aren't just kids anymore. They're the same symbols you've been staring at on covers and recommendations and autoplay bars. He's finished setting them into their final poses. Now he wants to see what you do with them. We're almost done. Not because I'm out of things to say. Because he's almost finished folding the space between us. He knows how this usually goes. You listen to the end. You feel that little thrill that you made it through. You check the comments. You maybe send it to someone who likes this kind of thing. He loves that. So here's the part he hates. You can't beat him by being brave. You don't win by surviving the story. That's not winning. That's data. Every extra second you've stayed here is another measurement. How long you watch, what you replay, what you can't let go of. There's only one move he actually hates. You stop wanting to know how it ends. You close this before the final line. You forget the shapes of their faces. You refuse to drag this into anyone else's night. If you can do that, your town stays where it is. Your bus stops stayed boring. Your kids, if you have them, stay just kids at a sign and not coordinates on his map. But you're still here. You wanted to know what happened to me, to them. Whether he's standing behind me right now while I talk. The truth is simple. He doesn't have to stand anywhere anymore. He lives in the gap between my voice and your ear. The veins on my walls are bright now. Pulse with my heartbeat. The kids' smiles aren't tired anymore. They're perfect. The recorder's red light is starting to fade. The hum is so loud I can taste it. Mia looks straight through me, past the mic, through whatever you're watching this on. He likes you, she says. You stayed. This is my final transmission from the Unsafe Zone. When the sound cuts out, there won't be anything left between us, except the line he folded. If you're still listening in the silence after that, you're not leaving his zone. You're joining the center of it. End of transmission. You've been listening to the Unsafe Zone. If you made it through all 4 transmissions, he knows your name now.